Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden has slammed US President Donald Trump's move to push through Congress the confirmation of his Supreme Court pick. For more, our chief foreign correspondent Phil Williams joins us now from Washington. G'day, Phil. What did the former Vice President, I should say, have to say?
Well, look, he said that this shouldn't be happening at all right now, and that process, that nomination process, should be the gift of whoever becomes the president, whether it's him or whether it remains Mr. Trump. So that's the first bottom line, because he says so close to an election, in fact, with voting already started in some areas, that it's indecent haste, and that the next president should be the one to determine that. And he cited, of course, an example in 2016. When the Republicans refused to allow a nomination to go ahead 8 months out of an election. So he says there's hypocrisy there. But really what he really is now turning his focus to is not necessarily Coney Barrett, who's the person that's been nominated, but the consequences of having a 6-3, 6 conservatives, 3 progressives on that court. And he's looking at Obamacare in particular, which is very much in the firing line and could be determined whether this Obamacare Act, which covers 20 million plus Americans' healthcare, could be actually taken away. Here's a bit of what Mr. Biden said.
Doesn't matter what the American people want. President Trump sees a chance to fulfill his explicit mission: steal away the vital protections of the ACA from countless families who have come to rely on them for their health, their financial security, and the lives of those they love.
Maybe he's trying out a few of the arguments they're going to try and use in Congress with the hearings with this election. But the Democrats have sort of been boxed into a corner here, haven't they, Phil? Because how do they do this? How do they attack Coney Barrett without alienating voters?
Well, this is the problem. If you go back to the last nomination of Justice Kavanaugh, that was a very ugly process for all concerned, and it would not look good, I think, for the Democrats to attack this candidate, this nomination, because she's obviously very well qualified for the job. She's got conservative values, and they're at odds with the Democrats, but that's no exclusion for a judge, and certainly in the situation where the Republicans had the number, they say they're perfectly entitled to put her forward. So I think they'll be very careful to try and separate her political views, for example, and her personal views. She's already said, I am not going to allow my personal views to interrupt the process of ruling on the law. She's very, very firm about that, but the Democrats are quite sceptical of that, and they still see this as, in effect, a stacking of the court, taking advantage of Justice Ginsburg's death, and being so close to the election shouldn't be happening at all.
I think they've lost that argument, though, for now. Hey, Phil Williams, thanks very much.